Tensura X Gate. Thus the JSDF fought their XHDARHRTK by Noru-Sensei. Rimuru, original, POV. After we had decided to send Shuna's Horikyasu to Pink Corps for Sumakun's backup. I told Valentine Ifusu to scout around the supercontinent. I then showed them a map of the supercontinent. This scout will be led by Gunther. This only consists of 5 Tempest jets. As for the scouting special, they can turn invisible, in other terms they can go undetected by the naked eye even for a dragon, also to the modern radars back on Earth. Then after the planning and some minor information, I ended the meeting. Then Rain started the banquet between us and the guests for this meeting. At the banquet, I went near Chloe and took her hand. She was surprised at first saying, "R Rimuru," with a blush on her face. I then cleared my throat for everyone to have their attention on me. "Everyone, I'll be leaving with Chloe now. Shuna if you would," I told them. "Be safe as always Danasama, Chloe." Shuna smiles warmly. "Benimaru be sure to support Shuna." I ordered him. "You don't have to say it, Rimuru-sama." Benimaru replied. I then looked at Rain who is currently serving Hikuro. "Rain don't make a scene while I'm gone okay?" I reminded. "Hi, Okasama." Rain replied as she served the food. Together with Rain are Misery and the other maids. Then Testa contacted me via thought communication saying, "Okasama, there seems to be an unknown vehicle like the Tempest helicopters flying towards here. What should we do?" "An unknown vehicle like the Tempest helicopters. Ah, those must be the GSDF helicopters as backup." I thought. "Those are helicopters, must be Itami's backup from the JSDF, withdraw there now Testa." "Hi, Okasama." Testa replied then our thought communication finished. "Is there something wrong Nissan?" Velzard asks. "Ah, no nothing. I just got into thought communication with Testa. She just reported that the 3rd recon team that she is currently helping against the bandits who attacked the city called Italica, and the backup of the 3rd recon team with helicopters has arrived on the scene." I said to them as they were shocked. "Helicopters? You mean they have a technology like our Tempest helicopters Rimuru-sama?" Fudora said in surprise. "Yes they have, remember. I already told you few years ago." I rebutted. "Ah, you're right Rimuru-sama, my apologies," she said looking down. "Anyway, enjoy the banquet. I'll leave now with Chloe." I told them. "Hi. Danasama Rimuru-sama Okasama Nisan Nisama Anu Rimuru Rimurudana Rimurushin." They all said at the same time. Then Chloe and I teleported to the south part of the city walls outside. I can already see Testa having a tea while Ma serving her. Then Testa saw us and gave us a smile. "We have withdrawn as you ordered Okasama." Testa said. "Chloe-sama please take a seat." She then said as she noticed Chloe beside me. "Yes, good job Testa, Mas." I said to them. "We're not worthy of such praises Okasama Rimuru-sama." They said at the same time while they lowered their heads. Chloe then took a seat on the chair and I heard something interesting. "An iron Pegasus. What is that?" "Absolute violence that no human can withstand. The power to crush everything. A power that denies pride, honor, and everything else." I heard it from my universal hearing. Then I decided to teleport to that person, or should I say princess who said those lines. Then I let her continue what is on her mind without her even noticing me at her back. Then she continued. "Is this the goddess mocking us? How frail, worthless, and insignificant we humans are," she said as she looks to the helicopters flying. "Era, I wonder about that," I said internally. "All those brigands, and almost every single one is dead. Just what is this JSDF?" She asks herself. I then said to her. "That is the enemy that you, the Empire, were up against." While smiling at her. The princess flinched, then looks around, saw me, her expression were those who's surprised. She was then came back to her senses and asked me. "Who are you exactly?" While looking at me with a bit scared expression. "Who am I exactly?" I said to her teasingly. She nods. "I'm that goddess you just mentioned earlier," I told her while smiling. She then went pale and her mouth was open in shock and disbelief. Sweats coming down to her face, then she fainted. Few seconds later some of her knights came up to me and surrounded me. I could see that there is, I think his name if I'm not mistaken, by the looks he is Grey Company Aldo, and Hamilton Uno Rur. I then casted a sleeping spell and made them forgot that they saw me and rewrite their memories as they saw Pina, their leader collapsed due to shock by the SDF. I also did the same with Pina as I removed her memory where she saw me. Then with a snap of my finger I removed the sleeping spell and they all woke up to see Pina collapsed. Don't worry, I made sure they remembered that they were just rushing up to check the princess, but then they found her collapsed on the floor. Time skip. We are currently in my imaginary space drinking tea as we observe the meeting between Itami and his men and Pina with Hamilton, the Countess of Italica called Mayui. Get this, Mayui can here is 11 years old. She's already a countess due to her father named Colt died due to the Battle of Ginza. Anyway, back to their meeting. Itami's side only demanded to be accepted on the city's taxes and trade. They also requested for the prisoners of war to be treated as humanely as possible. Hamilton was not happy about it and said that they wouldn't be able to do this to their family or friends. But one of Itami's men said it's just the way they treat prisoners of war. Which Pina agrees to this as she understands it. Then Itami also took some of the girl prisoners with them. Then one funny thing is that Kurakawa Mari, the third recon team's medic, said to Itami that all of the prisoners he was picking were all girls. Then Itami replied it was just a coincidence. Which made Chloe and I chuckled a bit. Speaking of Itami, he had a black eye on this left face. I looked on what happened, then I saw Itami was holding on Rory's right breast without him even noticing. To which Rory was trying to tell Itami that his hand were on her chest. Rory just smiled when she gained Itami's attention. Itami, not knowing what that smile means, just also smiled back. So he got punched to the face and that's how he got his black eye. This made my laugh for few seconds and then came back to my senses. Rimuru, parallel existence POV. After Sumakun disturbed my tea time, currently we are on the audience room with Sumakun sitting on his throne, Lishachan standing behind on the left side of Soma, Aishachan on the left side with the 3 guards on it. There are also the other 3 guards on the right side of Sumakun for this kind of purpose. Finally, I'm on the right side of Sumakun. The ones kneeling in front of us were Glaive Magna, Kaide Foxia, and Halbert Magna, who was beaten good by his father. Everyone, lift up your heads. He commanded. Yes, sire. Glaive Magna said. He then looks at Halbert, who's been beaten up by his father, having some bruises on his face. Then Sumakun finally noticed it. Oh, Halbert, your manly good looks seem to have gotten a boost, huh? Said Soma while holding his face to intimate the face of Halbert. Halbert just flinched about it, then his father said. I ask you overlook my son's misconduct, and humbly beg your mercy. Halbert's father said while bowing his head. Halbert then followed. By misconduct, are you referring to yesterday? Soma asks. I heard all the details from Kaide. From the abuse heaped upon your majesty, the flagrantly admitting that he would take the side of the 3 dukedoms. Your majesty's wrath is to be expected, but please, I beg that for being neglectful in his rearing, the fault may rest with me. He said while asking for Sumakun's forgiveness for the sake of his idiot son. If we're assigning blame, I would have to condemn myself for allowing my officers to let it come to this. I do not intend to censure him. Said Soma. Your majesty. Glaive managed to say. Besides, from the look of it, he has been punished quite a bit. Soma continued. I am so grateful for your magnanimous words. Once we return to our mansion, I will see to it immediately that my fool of a son has this lesson pounded unto him under my own hand. He declares to Sumakun. Huh, Halbert said in surprise. And now, don't be too harsh. Besides, if Halbert's rugged good looks get worked up any further, it might upset Kaide. He awkwardly said as he looks to Kaide. Huh, ahahaha. Kaide blushed as she laughs awkwardly. That reminds me, I was going to do this at some point soon anyhow, but now is as good a time as any. Might as well get it over with. Sumakun said as Lisha looks at him with a slight confused look. Kaide Foxia, mage of the Forbidden Army. He called on Kaide. Yes, sire. She replies. Your talents are too good to keep you as a mere mage. I order you to serve under Ludwin, in the Royal Guard, as a staff officer. He declared. Yes, sire. Kaide first answered. Then she realized. Huh, me, a staff officer. She said in surprise. What's critical is the quality of personnel and supplies. Isn't that what you said yesterday at Lorelei? He said. Kaide was speechless. You and I think alike. He then said to Kaide. Thank you very much, sire. Kaide bows her head. And as for you, Halbert Magna, I order you to transfer from the army to the Forbidden Army. He ordered. Me, in the Forbidden Army? Halbert asks. That's right. You will be Kaide's adjutant, where you will stand by her side and support her. Understood. Soma said in a demanding way. Yes, sire. Halbert smirked. Well then, that's pretty much takes care of that. Kazuyakan was about to end it when Glaive spoke up. Your Majesty, he shouts. Soma then looks at him. It pains me to ask for any more of your time than you have already given me, but there is something that I feel I must tell you. He said to Soma serially. So you're gonna tell him about that one, huh? I thought to myself as I looked at him. What is it? Tell me, Soma said. Well, it is a matter that I do not wish too many people to hear about. May we clear the room? Glaive requested. This causes Soma to look at him with curiosity. Then Soma said to the rest except for me to leave the room. But, sire, Aisha said. Don't worry about him, Aisha, just guard the door for us, will you? I said to reassure Aisha. Lishachan meanwhile just got out of the room. She hesitated but I gave her the signal that I will take care of it. She trusted me so she left. Now it was just the three of us. Glaive asked Kazuyakan if what I am to him and he said. She is my personal advisor, and apparently Duchess Walter's mother. Glaive was surprised at first, then he manages to compose himself. All right, let's hear it. Soma then said. Yes, sire, he said as he comes closer to Soma. Third Pav. Forgive me, I can't believe I'm being invited to tea with the princess. Kaide said. It would be dull to just wait around until Glaive has finished speaking. Let's enjoy a little tea and conversation. Lisha said to Kaide. That sounds lovely. Since the opportunity presents itself, you could ask how a young man and young lady are able to strengthen their friendship with each other day in and day out. Serena causally said to Lisha while serving Kaide and Halbert some tea. Huh. Both Kaide and Halbert said at the same time while their faces are red. I'm sure it will be most instructive for you, princess. She said teasing Lisha. This causes Lisha to have her face red as a tomato. Serena. Lisha said while flustered. Well then, if I may be so bold. Kaide said. You don't have to take her seriously. Lisha said in a high voice, flustered. Soma Kazuya Pav. Huh, I said in surprise while Glaive told me. Now that you've told me this, what do you expect me to do? I asked him in disbelief from what I just heard. Not a thing. I just wanted your highness to be aware of this. Glaive said as he bows his head. I then took a seat in my throne while Rimuru-san is just there looking at me with concern. Just what the heck are you thinking? You've expected me to go into your plan. I mean, I know this is the best way possible, but this must be the last resort. I thought to myself in disbelief. This is heavy, I commented. Then there was silence between us. Then Rimuru-san came close to me and puts my head on her chest, then she started to caress my hair. Her breast air so soft on my head. No, what am I thinking? This is not the time for this. Rimuru-san is comforting me. I know she is a goddess, I know she is the mother of all, including me. This is my first time again in years to have someone hug me like this. I thought to myself, then suddenly Rimuru-san said something via telepathy. Era, I know you are thinking something perverted, Sumakun. But since you are having a hard time, I'll let you stay this for a while. Glaive-san, can you leave the audience room for now? King Soma is not doing all right today. Rimuru-san then said to Glaive. I understand, Rimuru-sama. He bows his head and left the audience room. I then just stayed like that for a moment while I started to think, what is the step I will take? Itami Uji Pav. I'm currently resting at a room back in Italica. Mainly at the guest room of the formal clan's mansion. How did I got here? Let me tell you what happened few hours ago. Flashback. After the negotiations with the princess of the empire, we waited for Rory, Tuka and Lele to finish trading the dragon scales. That was the original goal why we have gone to Italica in the first place. After they have finished and already had the gold, we then left Italica to go back at Alnus. But that didn't happen. We have to come across with Princess Pina's Rose Order of Knights. They demanded us to stop and then asked who we were and where are we heading to. One of my men said we are going back to Alnus. But then a woman knight who seems to be its commander pointed her sword. My men aimed their weapons and the machine gun, but I went down from the vehicle and asked them what seems to be the problem. They pointed their swords at me this time. This causes me to order my men to go without me. They hesitated but they followed my order. They reversed the vehicles and left. Then I'm left behind. This caused me to be beaten up by some of the knights, then they dragged me using a rope, then tied it around my neck like a slave until we then reached Italica again. When we reached inside, I was there in the room where I first reached in the state of being beaten up badly by the knights. This caused Pina to throw her glass wine made out of gold onto the girl named Bose's company Palestine and had her forehead bleed from the wound. That's all I remembered and lost my consciousness. End of flashback. And here I am now in the room. When I first woke up I can already see a maid with snake hair looking at me. Then she said, "Oh, master seems to be awake." The maid said, "Where am I?" I asked while I forced myself to look around. But I was in pain from those knights who beaten me up. "Master, please do not force yourself to get up," she said. And then someone came in the room. I look who it was and I saw the maid earlier when we are talking to Pina about the treaty. "How are you feeling, Itami dono?" The maid Fran earlier said. "I'm feeling fine," I causally said. "I'm Kane, head maid of formal clan's mansion," she said. "Please allow me to introduce our best maids." She then continued, then the noticeable maids came. One with bunny ears, one with cat ears. "Oh, Karata will love this one." Then another one is surprisingly a normal maid. Let me first introduce Araya, she is a Medusa. Next this is Persia, she is a cat people. Next is Mamina, she is a warrior bunny. She excels here in combat. Finally her name is Momu. She finishes introducing them. "Here is your water master," said Momu as she helps me to drink water. Then few moments later a door was opened and I can hear one of them saying, "Commander, are you alright?" Then I looked at them while I have Persia feeding me some grapes. They were dumbfounded at first, then they entered inside. "My name is Karata Takeo." He nervously introduced himself to Persia. We were then having fun together and laughing together. That changed when all of a sudden a woman suddenly slapped my face. "Pina company Lotta Pav, what did you do this time, Boses?" I asked her. "Two, slapped Itami dono," she nervously said. "We just broke the treaty we signed earlier. Now this," I furiously said. "Anu," one of Itami's men said. I then looked at him. "We're just gonna leave. We just came here to get our commander," he continued. "That's right, he got summoned by Diet after all," another one said. "Diet, what is that?" I asked myself. "It means he is going to talk with our senators." Then another one said. "Itami dono is going to speak to their senate. Just one word from him, he can unleash Japan's mighty force. I must convince him to not let those failures out. I Itami dono wwhyd don't we hhave some be breakfast." I nervously invited them. "We're fine, thank you, we have a time to catch up so we're going to take our leave," Itami dono said. Then why don't I go with you?" I said desperately. Princess. That is dangerous," Hamilton said. Then another voice was heard. "Era, why don't I join in that as well?" We saw a woman with bluish silver hair and pure golden eyes. She wears a bluish silver colored military uniform. Together with her was another woman has waistlant black hair and blue eyes. She wears a dark gray colored military uniform. Finally that woman who appeared at the bandits earlier, together with her is a boy with ash gray hair with that same black military uniform. Testarosa-san, Itami dono said in surprise. Fu, we meet again, Itami," the woman said. Salute to the high rank." Itami dono suddenly shouted and saluted. The rest of his men followed. Why are they saluting to the unknown people? Are they Itami dono's superiors perhaps? I thought to myself while I don't know what to do. The woman in dark gray colored military uniform said in surprise. "Calm down everyone, you don't need to salute to us," the woman in bluish silver military uniform said. Itami dono and his men were hesitant at first but they put down their hands from the salute. "If I wouldn't be so rude, but, are you Testarosa-san's superior commanding officer?" Itami dono asks to the said woman earlier. Why does it feel like I've already met her before? I asked myself. You could say that, but before I tell who I am. I'm Rimuru Tempest, nice to meet you, First Lieutenant of the JGSDF and Special Region Recon Team 3 Itami Yuji-san. The woman named Rimuru said. I could see Itami dono is shocked. Maybe she is not their superior commanding officer. Then who are they? I thought to myself while I looked at her. Then she just smiled at us. How did you know my name and what my rank and also what unit I command? Itami dono nervously asks. I knew your name and the unit you command because of Testa's reports. Then by your rank, I just looked at your collar. Rimuru said while smiling. See, can you introduce yourselves one by one? I managed to request. Oh, sure princess. I'll start first. My name is Rimuru Tempest, the queen of the nation called Jura Tempest Federation Queendom. Also the true deity of this world. Meaning I'm a goddess. She finished with a smile. We all said at the same time. Then suddenly I lost my consciousness. Chloe Tempest Pav, you said it too much Rimuru. I said to her. Ahaha, my bad, my bad. She awkwardly said. I could see Itami-san and the rest of here present in the room had their mouths open in disbelief. Some fainted like the princess in front of us, and some started to kneel in front of us. Then Rimuru snaps her finger to gain the consciousness of those who fainted. As I saw them getting up, I just smiled awkwardly. It's your turn to introduce yourself now, Chloe. She said to me as Rimuru was smiling awkwardly. Ahem. 2. I'm Chloe Tempest. I'm Tempest Human Resources Development Academy's headmaster. One of the true heroes and Rimuru's wife. I introduced myself with a slight bow. Wife. The princess said. SSO, that means why you are the second queen of the nation called Juru Tempest Federation Queendom. Itami asks. No, I'm not the second queen. I don't actually have a position to the throne because I don't want to. I clarified. 2C. He said awkwardly. I'm Testarossa, one Okasama's generals in black numbers. Testarossa-san said. I'm Mas, Rimuru-sama, Closama and Testarossa-sama's subordinate. One of the lieutenants in black numbers. Mas introduced himself with a slight bow. Now to continue, let us also go with you Itami-kun. Ah, don't worry to introduce yourselves. I already knew who you are. Rimuru said. Then we talked for a short while, after finished talking we then set on a journey. Rimuru, original, Pav. After arrived at the JSDF base in Alness Hill. As we got off to the vehicle, we were greeted by some SDF troops lining up with their rifles up like those in the ceremony. The princess and Chloe were amazed and didn't know what to do. While Testarossa is all being mighty, Mas meanwhile was having a manly walk, despite his looks. Finally, I'm overwhelmed by this. They didn't have to do that, but since we're here we have to walk. At the end of the carpet I could see a man with glasses saluting as we walk. As we got near he said. It's our pleasure to meet you Queen of Juru Tempest Federation Queendom and Goddess of the World Rimuru Tempest-sama. The guy said. You don't have to be so stiff my child. I said to him. Meanwhile I can see Pina was talking to Itami-kun about something. Then he started to run off. We would like to take a rest first, you can talk to the princess for the meantime. I said to the man named Yanagita Akira. I told to him that so the princess can talk to the JGSDF's Lieutenant General Hamaza. Is that alright Rimuru-sama? He asks. Hi, what would be all first? We would like to take some tea first. I said to him. As you wish your highness goddess. He bowed and escorted us to an empty room. Then we started our tea time as Mas pours our tea. After some time, someone knocked on the door and said. Excuse me Rimuru-sama, Closama, Testarossa-sama and Masdano. Lieutenant General Hamaza wants to talk to you now. A man said. We got it, tell Lieutenant General Hamaza to wait for us in few minutes. I said to him. Rimuru-sama. He said while I can hear the footsteps fading. We were about to go out when someone knocks on the door again. Who is it? Chloe said. It's me, Lieutenant General Hamaza Closama. The man on the other side of the door said. Testa, the door. I ordered. Hi, Okasama. She bows and opened the door. Sorry for keeping you wait, Rimuru-sama. Lieutenant General Hamaza said while he bows his head. It's fine. I said signaling the two to raise their head. Two of them you ask. I forgot to tell you, Yanagita Akira-kun was also there who just entered also. Then the both of them raised their heads. SSO, what does the goddess of tea this world and the queen of Juru Tempest Federation Queendom had a business with us? He formally asks. Just call me Rimuru, now as for the business. I would like to introduce myself and observe your world. I said. 2C. I would want to ask some questions but it seems unnecessary because you are a goddess after all. He said in defeat. Ho ho, why do you believe it so fast? I asked. There are actually something fits your description that we saw back at Akihabara a few years ago. It had that same bluish silver hair and pure golden eyes. You were so famous that we also had to investigate what you were Rimuru-sama. He told me. Wait, how did I become famous in their world? From that time I visited Akihabara to buy Veldora's mangas. I first questioned by what he means, then I remembered it. That is exactly 20 years is it? I asked. HHAI. He replied. We then talked for quite some time. Then someone knocks on the door and said that the car is ready. This made us ended our conversation and went to the car. We then ride on that car and we entered to this gate. Few minutes of driving we then got out of the gate to see two people waiting. It was also snowing in here, so it means it's winter. We then got off the car and Chloe, Testarossa and Moss were looking around the view. They were amazed to see that it was somehow like Tempest because of the buildings. After some time Itami was talking to this man from the Public Security Intelligence Agency named Komikato Hideo. Public Security Intelligence Agency or PSIA is the National Intelligence Agency of Japan. It is administered by the Ministry of Justice in the Government of Japan, and is tasked with internal security and espionage against threats to Japanese. Which then he stated one by one that Itami went into training then just became the second to the lowest cadet officers to graduate at JGSDF Military Intelligence School. JGSDF Military Intelligence School trains the JGSDF personnel with highly advanced and specialized capabilities in intelligence collection and analysis. You will be put here if you have high and have potential intelligence, skills and talent. Also back when he was still a student from National Defense Academy of Japan he was the second to the lowest to pass at the exams. National Defense Academy of Japan or NDA for short is the National, 4-year university-level service academy aimed to educate and train students who will be serving as officers in the 3 services of the Japan Self-Defense Force. On how he was part of the Ranger thanks to him making his superior furious to him. Rangers are the Ranger courses of the JGSDF or military training courses oriented toward commando operations. That can't be true, right? Kuribayashi commented in disbelief from what she just heard. Finally he said about Itami was part of the SFG or Special Forces garrison, on why he was put there. That is because he made his superior officer pissed, so for his discipline he was forced put at the SFG training. Which to the SFG members and commanders' surprise he managed to pass the exam where Itami had his superiors on the exam hostage. He can't be seen nor chased by his colleagues and was great at hiding. When he had those said superiors as hostage he had the whole exam takers surrender to him. That makes him as one of the best and professional part of the SFG. That is only if he was really serious. The SFG or Special Forces Garrison are also known as Special Forces Group or well-known professional units that had trained with the US Delta Force. Then Kuribayashi was so shocked that she had a mental breakdown about it. Then Itami said to Komikato that he did his research well. After their short conversation we then rode on the bus with some escorts. Then we left from Ginza towards to a restaurant. We then eat there and it was so delicious. No surprise that it was similar back to Tempest as I already recreated the food. As for Pina and Bozes, they enjoyed the food so much. That goes the same with Rory, Lele, and Tuka. Then after we ate, we then went to a clothing store to buy some suits for Rory, Lele, Tuka, Pina and Bozes. All of them except for Tuka tried a suit. As for us, we didn't need to as we picked the winter version of our Tempest military uniform anyways. After she have bought the suit we then left towards the diet assembly. We all left the bus except for Pina and Bozes. We then entered that said infrastructure and were greeted by a lot of paparazzi. There was a camera, it means this conference and meeting was live in whole Japan, and possibly around the world. Now then, I can already see what will happen next and the plans of those greedy countries. I'll give them a warning.